Good morning on Tuesday the 10th. 2 weeks till Christmas. Don't mind him. All right, 2 weeks to Christmas. And I'll be honest, today will be pretty light and straightforward. I'm not going to waste your time and push in a long agenda. We have a few updates for you, and then I'm working towards giving you kind of like what I'm seeing heading into 2025 next week. Cool? Sweet. So, a couple of reminders for the group this morning, and there was a lesson to be learned in something that happened that you may have seen, may have not have seen, may not have been paying attention to, but there's definitely a signal and there's something to learn from it. And that's kind of my market of the moment update this week. I'll share with you in a second. So, mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. Last week I shared with you some notes, very brief notes, and I'll share more later, but from a conversation that I attended back in November at the Art Museum from Arthur Brooks. And I shared with you kind of 4 seeds that I wanted you to take into 2025 as you start thinking about and planning your lives personally and professionally. And it was all around how the ultimate enterprise in life is finding true happiness. And true happiness comes from 3 components: enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning. And where we struggle in our business and our industry is the striver's curse, because a lot of us take stock in how many units we sell, how many families we serve, what's our total volume. And the more successful you become, the more challenging happiness becomes, because you have this burden of achievement. And so it's hard to live up to when January 1 rolls around. And so we get into this period of time right now in November and December where we feel burnt out because we feel like we lose progress. And the lack of progress comes from the fact that November, December, January, and February are the 4 slowest months in transactional volume in our business. And so what happens is because people lose a sense of productivity or lose a sense of achievement, they become detached from their enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning and what it is that they do and how they do it. And so my challenge to the group last week, and my challenge to you heading into 2025, is how do you stay focused on your enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning? And how do you continue to keep that in your focus or in your RAS as you go through periods of ups and you go through periods of down? A big portion of that, and the way that we like to practice that, is in how you utilize or activate your vision boards. So this morning in the North Shore and in Lake Country, immediately following team meeting, we have all the stuff to help you put into your RAS what it is that you find enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning. What are you working towards, or what are you striving for, in order for you to continue to put gas in your car heading into 2025 and not experience that burnout as you do now, right? And the last reminder I'll leave you with is don't polish your leaves, fertilize your roots. In a society of instant gratification, we're really good at polishing our leaves, and social media is a really good way of making people feel as if they're doing something, but they aren't, right? So fertilize your roots, stay focused on your roots, and you'll be good heading into 2025. And I left you with the comment of your true self is not the sum of your achievements. It is the sum of the love of the people in your life. And I share that with you. And it was a really good segue into, I wanted to thank the group for those that came out last week at the Pfister Hotel on Thursday evening. Hopefully you all enjoyed yourselves. We had around 600 plus people who came to the Pfister. I thought the Pfister as a venue was exceptional. It's always a special place in the holidays. If you haven't been there, I always kind of say it's Milwaukee's version of the Plaza Hotel from Home Alone. It's an exceptional, really great venue. And I really want to thank a handful of people who really pulled this together and helped us curate a really special evening. First of all, Britton out in Lake Country, and Bella in the North Shore TOSA office for really kind of pulling together what I would consider to be a large scale wedding. We're looking forward to running it back again next year. We're actually already working on it, because when you get to a size of ours of 600 plus people, it takes a year's worth of coordinating. And I believe at this time we're going to run it back at the Pfister. So stay tuned for more news on a save the date forthcoming. But I wanted to thank the group for really having a great evening, and hopefully you and your guests enjoyed yourself. I'd also say this doesn't happen without really some incredible sponsors. And I just want to say that, like, they're people who believe in us and also believe in you, and they are willing to make investments in you to thank you. Really, that's what it is. It's a thank you for your partnership throughout the year. And so throughout early part of Q1, you're going to hear from a handful of those sponsors, just as a way for us to thank them for their investment that they make within our community. Cool? Sweet. Oh, and there we are. Focus Title, Prime Lending, America's Preferred Home Warranty, Epic Mortgage, A+, Ein, and Cream City Mortgage as our main title sponsors for this year's event. So we'll have opportunities to have the group in front of you heading into Q1. Cool? Sweet. All right, here's my industry news in the market of the moment. Something happened last week, Tuesday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, that like, if you're like me, I don't read a lot of Inman news, but I read some Inman news when I need to pay attention to Inman news. If you're looking for other sources, I really believe, if you're just a personal note, I think Housing Wire is fantastic. It's a lot less gossipy and a lot more factual and a lot more straightforward. So if you're looking for other news sources about our industry, I would give a little plug for Housing Wire. I think they do a really nice job. But having said that, I would share with you this. Something happened that probably didn't show up on many of your radars, but it did on mine. And here's why. Compass acquired a rather large company called At Properties and Christie's International. Okay. At Properties, if you didn't know, is a top 10 brokerage in the US, mainly in Chicago. That's really their main focus. They have a little outlet in Lake Geneva. They have some outlets in Michigan, and then they are partnered with Christie's on an international basis. And Compass acquired them for $450 million. It's a shitload of money. Okay. Now, what is the lesson to be learned in this? Now, mind you, here's something you have to understand. This acquisition really does not impact us much in Milwaukee. It doesn't. But what is the lesson to be learned? That I don't know. Jay's comment was, are they running them individually and keeping the brands?
Christie's said they are running as Christie's.
Yep. Okay, but what else? What do you think the lesson is? Yeah.
Business can be contracting on just a few brands and a few people that are going to be producing.
The comment was consolidation. Here's where I would tell you the lesson is. True, anything is possible. No, here's the lesson. Yeah. The lesson is this. They don't pull this move if they didn't believe that the industry has a strong 5 to 10 year runway ahead of us. Okay. These deals aren't paid out in all cash right away on day one at closing. They're paid out over a 5 to 10 year earnout period based on the transition. And you don't make this big of a gamble or a bet if you don't believe that our industry, where the tide is going to continue to rise. And so the reason why I share this with you is very much as what I've been sharing with you, that I think demographics are in our favor from a macro standpoint, and that demand will continue to be healthy for a variety of reasons. And I won't nerd out on you on that this week. I'll do that next week with you. But the reason why I share that with you is, to me, it signaled a vote of confidence in our industry moving forward. Despite the changes that we've seen, the headwinds that we've faced, they wouldn't have done this deal 2 years ago when the market was down 35%, right? They're doing this at a time when they believe that the market is going to come back. And I think that is really, really positive in making you understand that I believe that we're on solid ground for the next 5 years of this business. Because again, as I always challenge you during, on a monthly basis, that you're not in it to have a great year. Businesses aren't in it to have a great 1 year. They're in it to build great long-term careers or great long runways. And so that's what a deal like this signals to me. So moving on. With that, I'm flipping it over to Vranek. Vranek, what do these guys need to know about setting your goals in command?
Okay, good morning, everybody. So, this is always the time of year where we have been or start to, well, hopefully you've started to talk about your goals for 2025. Maybe you've done the business planning clinic back in October, you've done your vision board or plan to do that today. But did you know that you can actually set and track your goals in command? And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and the process to how to go about setting those up, because you're already in there utilizing opportunities. why not input your goals so that it automatically tracks based on the opportunity data? So the goals in Command are based on the MREA economic model, and it's going to utilize your contacts and the opportunities applet in order to track those activities and your production. And so some of the different types of things that you're going to track is your annual profit goal. So your expenses, your cost of sales, your business makeup. So the percentages of your listings and buyers that you plan to do for 2025, your average commission per unit. And then you're also going to set conversion rates. So each item is going to represent the rate at which one item converts to another. For example, you convert 10% of your leads to become contacts, that sort of thing. So then once you set your yearly goals, the activities that you do within Command will contribute to how you can track your progress. So either when working with your leads or contacts or utilizing opportunities. It also is going to include a profit tracker. So it's going to show the progress of your estimated profit based on the opportunity data. So when an opportunity is moved to the closed phase, the system will actually calculate your estimated profit and then compare that to your profit goal. And all of this is then going to be kind of broken down by like the activities that you complete within your contacts. So it's going to track the total number of activities for the current month or year. And that's all based on, you know, the meetings that you're logging, your phone calls, your emails, notes, the smart plans that you automatically have set up for your contacts, Twilio text if you're utilizing that. So all of that is going to contribute to this applet, this goals applet. It's also going to include goals conversion rates. So you're going to view your conversion rates compared with your profit goal for the current month or year. And then it has a GCI goal breakdown. So you can view your profit, your cost of sales, operating expense goals, while also viewing your GCI for that month or the entire year. So this is all within the reports applet in Command. There's a goals tab. You'll just click into there, click on, I think it's goal settings, and then choose 2025. And it's going to walk you through step by step how to set those goals. And then throughout the year, you're going to be able to go back in there, track your progress. There's also, and I'm sure a lot of you noticed this, on the homepage or the dashboard of Command, you have that goals section automatically in there. So if you guys have any questions on how to set this up, how to track your goals for the year, just reach out to me. I'm happy to help. That's it. Thank you.
What you track will ultimately improve. There's today's lesson. Okay. All right. Now, coming back on a 2-week hiatus, who was much needed, because if you think about everything we've been dealing with since October of last year through August of this year and helping you navigate the ways of the world, Lieutenant Steph is back from a 2-week hiatus. Lieutenant,
Hi.
what do these guys need to pay attention to? And thanks for your continued service to the group.
Of course. Thank you guys. Okay, we're going to talk about the inspection contingency deadline this morning. This is at the request of the contract helpline. And, you know, normally we would maybe keep this to, you know, our more newer agents, but we've been seeing a lot of seasoned agents with questions on this as well. So we wanted to bring it to the greater good for everybody. So again, just reminders on the inspection contingency deadline. So first up, we're calculating the count by counting the calendar days from the accepted offer date by the days named on line 206. So a pro tip, timeanddate.com is the website that I use to calculate all of my deadlines in my offers. So use that. Instead of, you know, pulling out the calendar, just go to timeanddate.com and it can calculate it for you. And then, of course, mark your calendar with all of your deadlines. So that's financing, that's earnest money, that is appraisal, etc. So you guys need to be keeping on top of these. The contingency waives itself once the deadline passes. So this is key. This is where we're running into trouble. So we're getting questions in from everybody like, you know, inspection has passed, deadline has passed, now what? And now we're shooting ourselves in the foot big time when that happens. So just as a reminder on how to navigate that. So the inspection deadline does not change, again, because the binding acceptance date of a proposed amendment falls after the inspection deadline. So if you guys are negotiating, you know, you're going back and forth with amendments, we get this question a lot that, you know, I've put the binding acceptance date of this inspection amendment and it happens to fall after the inspection deadline. That doesn't mean that the inspection deadline has automatically extended. If that time period comes and goes, that binding acceptance date does not trump that. So again, the most important deadline in this is that final inspection deadline. If you need to extend the deadline in order to continue negotiations, you must do that via an amendment. So again, it's just as simple as the inspection deadline is extended from X date to Y date. If the agreement has not been made, and this is again where we're kind of running into trouble. So if an agreement has not been made either on the repairs themselves or an agreement has not been made to extend the deadline and the buyer does not want to buy the house as is, then a notice of defects must be delivered prior to that inspection contingency deadline. And then depending on whether or not the seller has been given the right to cure in the offer, then the delivery of the notice of defects will dictate if the deal is dead or not. So if the seller has been given the right to cure, the new deadline kicks in and seller now makes a determination on releasing that buyer or not. If the seller has not been given the right to cure, then that deal is dead. What we really want you guys to hear, again, is you just need to be paying attention to that inspection contingency deadline, the one that you are calculating from the date in the offer to purchase. Next slide. Okay, so and then also as a reminder, a notice can be delivered at any time. Best practice always, and what we encourage is that you're coming to terms via an amendment before drawing that final line in the sand with that notice of defects. You know, we're always encouraging everybody, make sure that you are making attempts to negotiate these repairs before you're going to that notice stage. But again, you know, if you've got a buyer who wants to just go ahead and deliver a notice, go ahead, obviously, you're going to take their direction. Then finally, you're not going to send a notice and an amendment simultaneously. We've got some agents who have done this before. A notice trumps an amendment. So if that notice is delivered, either again, depending on right to cure, either the deal is dead or that election to cure period has now kicked in. So if you do want to continue negotiations after a notice has been delivered, you absolutely can. You will need to rescind that notice within the terms of the amendment. So always, obviously, you're going to come to us with questions, but please make sure you're coming to us with questions prior to that deadline, because we're going to put our buyers in very, very vulnerable positions if the deadline comes and goes and they do not want to buy the house as is, right? So then reviewing the inspection contingency altogether, here is a QR code that will lead you to the contract training most recently done by Joan on September 16th. So we go through the inspection contingency probably once a quarter, I would say. So we've got multiple trainings on this. This is the most recent one. And this will go through, you know, starting from the inspection contingency itself, all the way down to right to cure. So thank you for your time on that. Closing statement review prior to closing. Okay, so just as a reminder, again, part of our contract to close processes is reviewing our closing statements prior to closing. So these are the things you guys need to check for on these closing statements. Are the commissions correct? In the wake of the settlement, this number has got to be triple checked. Now that we are running into the fact that we can collect our commissions from multiple sources, and that might be more the case than not now, we need to just double check that commission. The earnest money amount, is that correct? Is the purchase price correct? Were closing cost credits negotiated? Did those get added? If there's a home warranty, I'm sure that 90% of us have had to pay for a home warranty because we forgot to check to see if it was on a home or on the closing statement. Are there contractors being paid at closing? Did invoices get sent to the title and added to the closing statement? Any addendum O or addendum R considerations? Security deposits, occupancy charges, etc. All of that needs to be, checking the offer, checking the negotiations after the accepted offer, and making sure that those are reflected on the closing statement.
We just had a situation yesterday that someone did not triple check their closing statements and there was an issue with commission and some other credits within the transaction. And we need to make sure that we're checking our closing statements in advance of the closing to properly account for how money is flowing. Make sense? Happens more than you'd think. And I get it. People are moving fast, but
Yeah.
when it impacts your ability to earn your income, you got to make sure that you're triple checking and not leaving it to chance.
I'm definitely in the 90% who have had to buy a home warranty for sure, multiple times. I'll admit it. It's okay. Okay, license renewal. So Saturday the 14th is the magic day. I sent out a mass email yesterday to all of those who have yet to provide me with the DSPS confirmation email. I received emails back from those folks multiple times, or sorry, throughout the day, excuse me. So thank you for paying attention to email and getting back to me right away. So again, you're going to be taking your continuing ed courses through the WRA. In my email to those of you who have not yet renewed, I did give you specific instructions within that email as well. So I have not put it here. Again, then you're going to renew your license with the DSPS. And then all I need is the confirmation email from the DSPS. So just forward that to me. And then lastly, we have had people running into issues with this new password verification check. The DSPS has been super helpful. You're not just like being sent into a void when you call this number. If you call this number, if you're having issues, they will send you a password reset link immediately. So they've been super helpful, which is nice. So I think that's
Beautiful.
all I have. Okay.
Steph, welcome back. Appreciate you and everything you've done for the group over the last 12 months. And last reminder, I'd say December 14th is Saturday. You need
Yes.
to act as if your income depended on it. Because hint, hint, it does. So,
Yes.
all right, wrapping it up. I told you, light and straightforward this week, education and events. So December, if you've moved in 2024, want to make sure that we remind you to please, expenses are being sent out, 1099s are being sent out. We're working on year-end activities already, so we can help you stay ahead of the game. If you moved in 2024, please reach out to the MCA's office so that they have your appropriate address on file. Next up, December training calendar here. Lots of things to jump into this month that I'll highlight here shortly, but also want to make sure that it's on your guys' radar that the offices will be closed 24th, 25th, and 26th. You'll have access to the offices 24/7. It will also be closed the 31st and 1st in end of December, January. So when we have holidays in the middle of the week, it makes for a little bit of a wonky schedule. So just please plan accordingly. Coming up today in North Shore and Lake Country, immediately after team meeting, I challenged you around how do you stay focused in keeping your RAS around enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning to try and find your true happiness. The way I do that and have practiced over several years is by creating a vision board and making sure that that vision board is in front of me and it keeps me focused, laser focused on what's important. And I remove the distractions of what's not important for me and my family. We're doing it today in the North Shore and Lake Country. Last week we did it in Tosa and in Southwest. I think in Tosa and Southwest last week alone, I did it with about 150 people. So we're doing it again today in the North Shore and Lake Country. Stop in. Next, there's a YP and Rainbow Happy Hour this week on the 11th from 5 to 7 at Herb and Harvest Brewing Company, sponsored by Cream City and Focus Title. Come and check it out. Also, a little bit of a plug, KWYP's National Advance this year is in Chicago in May, I believe May 22nd to the 24th. A quick Amtrak ride down to the city for those that want to participate in the KWYP. More news to come on that. Next, this week, Thursday at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock is the beginner and advanced conversation all around the budget mastermind. How do you pay attention to your finances in this business? Way too many people make as much, they spend as much money as they make. And then all of a sudden the tax man comes and says, oh shit, you didn't pay your taxes. How do you make sure that you pay your taxes? You're living a life by design. You're operating to the model of 30-30-40. If you don't know what the 30-30-40 model is, you probably should be jumping into this Zoom so that you can appropriately track your income, because what you track will ultimately improve. And Scott and Smin are great teachers of how do you manage your finances effectively in this business. Next, the Kluger, Jenny Klug, next week, Monday, has at 11 a.m. all around how do you effectively utilize a great partner of ours, America's Preferred Home Warranty, and how do you list and sell homes with the home warranty. Coolest thing about APHW, your clients get to choose the contractor. And when we have issues, we go right to Kluger. Service with a smile. With that, 2 other things to remind the group. January 8th, Ignite is coming back in the North Shore, 9 to noon, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's a free 99 class. You don't pay anything. And the beautiful part is it's 12 different sessions learning from 12 different people. And you get to learn what it is that makes them special, unique, and how do they do this business at a high level. The purpose of the class is diversity of thought and diversity of approach. Highly recommend it, and you don't have to be new to participate. Many times we have many significant people of production who take the class because they want to learn different ways that people find success in this business. So take a look for Ignite starting in January. Lastly, my opinion, the best event from an educational training networking opportunity is Family Reunion. It is in Las Vegas this year, February 17th to the 21st. Last year, we had 72 people from Milwaukee participate. It's a great way to learn, network in a city that some people love and some people hate. So if you're interested, join us in Vegas. I know I'll be there in February. Cool? Guys, I was straightforward, to the point. I'm not going to waste more of your time if there's not more time to be had in terms of information to be shared. Next week, I am digging into it now, and I hope to deliver my forecast for 2025 for you, focused on the national level and a micro level here in southeastern Wisconsin and the things you need to be paying attention to. I'm giving you back 30 minutes of your time. Guys, have a beautiful day. Thanks, guys.